The glass cup slipped from my hand and shattered on the floor. Everyone in the living room turned to look at Amarachi. But she didn't even flinch. Instead, she tossed her hair back and said loudly, "Please relax. In Lagos, this kind of cup is nothing." That was the exact moment I knew this visit was going to end in disaster. But nobody expected the level of embarrassment that was about to happen. If you enjoy real-life stories like this, make sure you subscribe, like this video, and drop a comment telling me where you're watching from. Now let me tell you what happened the day Amarachi came to visit us. Amarachi was my cousin. She had been living in Lagos for 3 years, and from the way she talked, you would think she owned half of the city. One afternoon my mum walked into the sitting room smiling. "Guess who is coming to visit us tomorrow?" she said. I looked up from my phone. "Who?" "Amarachi." Before I could even react, my younger sister shouted from the kitchen. "Ah, the Lagos big girl." My mum laughed. "Yes, that one." Honestly, I was excited. It had been years since we saw her. But the moment Amarachi arrived the next day, everything started to feel strange. She stepped out of the car wearing huge sunglasses and chewing gum loudly. "Hey guys," she said casually. My mum rushed forward to hug her. "Amarachi, you've grown so much." But Amarachi didn't hug back immediately. She slowly removed her sunglasses and scanned the compound like a real estate agent inspecting property. "This place still looks the same," she said. My sister and I exchanged a look. Something about that statement didn't sit right. But we ignored it. Inside the house, things only got worse. My mum served food, hot rice and stew with fried chicken. Amarachi stared at the plate. Then she frowned. "Is this local rice?" My mum blinked. "Yes, why?" Amarachi leaned back dramatically. "In Lagos I only eat basmati rice." The room became quiet. I cleared my throat. "Well, this is what we have." She shrugged. "I guess I'll manage." I could feel the tension rising, but my mum just smiled politely. That was when Amarachi started talking about Lagos. And she didn't stop. "In Lagos, people don't dress like this. In Lagos, we don't wake up this early. In Lagos, everything is classier." After about the 10th in Lagos, my sister whispered to me, "Does she think Lagos is heaven?" I almost laughed. But the real embarrassment hadn't even started yet. 2 days later, my mum decided to take Amarachi to a family gathering. It was our aunt's birthday. The house was already full of relatives when we arrived. Music was playing. Food was everywhere. Everyone was happy. At first, Amarachi behaved normally. But the moment someone asked her about Lagos, everything changed. She stood up in the middle of the living room. "You people won't understand Lagos life," she announced. Everyone paused. My uncle raised an eyebrow. "What do you mean?" Amarachi flipped her hair. "In Lagos, we go to places that cost more than your monthly salary." You could hear a pin drop. I slowly turned to look at my mum. Her smile had disappeared. My aunt forced a laugh. "Well, that's interesting." But Amarachi wasn't done. She walked to the food table and picked up a piece of meat. Then she said loudly, "This kind of food, we don't even eat it in Lagos." My cousin Chinedu choked on his drink. "Then why are you eating it?" he asked. The room exploded with laughter. Amarachi froze. For the first time since she arrived, she looked uncomfortable. But instead of calming down, she doubled down. "You people are just jealous," she snapped. That was when everything completely fell apart. My uncle stood up slowly. "Amarachi," he said calmly, "who raised you?" The room went silent. She blinked. "What do you mean?" My uncle folded his arms. "You came to visit family and all you've done is insult everyone." Nobody spoke. Not even Amarachi. My mum finally stood up. "Amarachi, apologize." But Amarachi shook her head. I didn't say anything wrong. At that moment, I wished the ground would open and swallow me. But the worst moment was still coming. My aunt walked to the food table and packed a takeaway plate. Then she handed it to Amarachi. "Here," she said politely. Amarachi looked confused. "What's this?" My aunt smiled. Since our food is too local for Lagos standards, you can take it back to Lagos. The entire room burst into laughter. I mean loud laughter. Even the children were laughing. Amarachi's face turned bright red. She grabbed her bag and stormed out of the house. Nobody stopped her. Not one person. The car ride home was the quietest ride of my life. Amarachi stared out the window. My mum finally spoke. "You embarrassed yourself today." Amarachi didn't respond. But I could tell something had finally sunk in. Because for the rest of her stay, she never mentioned Lagos again. Not even once. Looking back now, that day taught me something very important. No matter where you live, no matter how successful you become, respect will always take you further than pride. And Amarachi learned that lesson the hard way. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment below. I'd love to know. Have you ever met someone who came back from the city acting like they were better than everyone else? Tell me your story in the comments. And trust me, the next story I'm about to share on this channel, it's even crazier than this one.